Hey everyone, it's Brim Sensei here. Welcome back to another video of Molly lineup guides. So this one's the one for split, and yeah, let's just get into it. First plant spot is here, default, most common one. You can come back to B main, and basically you want to kind of just be behind this box, and you just want to stay crouched, because if you're not crouching,
right here,
they can see you. They can see your heads because they're on a slightly elevated ground. So you want to be crouching. But basically what you want to do is you want to move. You can see that I'm moving further back, and I want to move back till I see this green bar, like just like this. And you just want to aim towards the right of it, and then just shoot it.
Molly.
And this molly is really good because it covers the whole entire area, so they're either forced to come out, which they don't want to because they'll get shot, or they take all this burn damage. Next is if you have ult and you want to come further back. So you get into this corner and you see this sign here, and you just want to aim at the middle level of this sign, but a little bit more towards the right. So not exactly in the middle, but just like a little bit more towards the right, something like this, and just shoot the molly. And you'll see it goes through all those gaps, lands perfectly over here, and it's actually really good if you plant it here, because after you shoot it, you can wrap towards heaven, and then you'll be able to see if they're defusing or not. Alright, the next one is if you sneak into CT, and basically you want to look at this wooden part, but you want to just aim to the left of that, so right there where it hits this wooden part. So basically forming a triangle, forming a right angle triangle, right, like this. And you just want to put your molly icon right there, the tip of it. Molly. And this is a very interesting molly because it goes into this gap and lands on top of the box. So I really like this one that I made up because enemies will never be able to block this. They won't see where it's coming from. And it hits both sides of the box. So if you want, you can even plant there. But the only con about this molly is, as you can see, it takes a while to land. It takes, I think, about like 10 to 12 seconds to land, which is pretty long time, even with ult. So you definitely want to shoot this molly early, or as soon as you shoot it, you want to be pressuring them to say, hey, like, you need to peek me or something. Now, a very underrated molly is not necessarily a lineup, but let's say you did plant there and you're in CT. People don't do this enough, and all you have to do is just shoot the molly in this corner.
Molly.
So when you shoot it in this corner, you can see it gets the other side, so they will take damage as well. Okay, so do not neglect that. If you're running out of time and you can't shoot the other one, just shoot it right there in the corner. Now the last one for default is more of a defensive one as well, but if you go to heaven and you get into this corner, you'll see this curved part and you'll see this electrical wire, and you just want to aim in between those two, or at least somewhere in this direction.
Molly.
Bounces off the wall, lands perfectly in this area. They're going to take a lot of damage. Alright, the next most common plant spot is right here in the corner for A main. So what you want to do is you want to come back into this corner and have the same idea. You know, you just want to move back till you see this green bar. But this time you're aiming at this. So not this one, but the left one. And you're just aiming right here, and then you just shoot it. And it's the perfect distance, bounces so quickly that you can shoot it, you know, the moment they tap it. Okay, the next one is if you have ult, is better if you have ult, and you can go into this corner back in A main, Now, shout out to Perry2N because he's the one that made up this lineup, or at least that's where I learned it from. And you want to look at this corner here, where it creates a right angle, and basically you just want to put the top of your smoke icon, the little square that of your smoke icon, and you just want to put it there and shoot it.
Molly.
And this molly takes a while to land, so it's better with ult. But as you can see, lands perfectly in this area. They'll take burn damage. Now let's say you wanted to be cheeky and you wanted to wrap to heaven. Basically in heaven, remember the green bar. You just want to see the green bar, and then you just want to shoot your molly at the green bar.
Molly.
And as you can see, it lands really quick and hits this whole area. Alright, the last one for B site is right here in this corner. You can plant it's sort of better to plant in this corner-ish, but just in the middle. Now this one, I would only do this with ult. Okay, you need your ultimate for this because you're going very far away. So what you're going to do is you're going to come back to B main, and you're going to get into this corner. Now you want to be a little bit closer just to make sure you hear them tap the spike. So then you ult the whole area. And as you can see, they won't have much to run to, so you ult the whole area. Very good. Go into this corner, and you want to look at this circle, the circular sign, and just aim a little bit to the left of it, and shoot your molly. And this is a good molly because it captures the whole entire area. They take all this burn damage, and it lands really quickly. Okay, now moving on to A side. This is the most common plant spot here, or like around here. And basically, this is the default spot. So usually people get stuck after they've smoked. Okay, especially if you've planted as brim. So what I do is I like to smoke screens like this.
Launching smoke.
And the reason is because then I don't get peeked from heaven. They can't see me. But also I can reposition and hide here. Because if enemies push out of screens, they will not usually, like 99% of the time, they don't look at this position. So you get a free kill, and then you get to go into your lineup spot. Okay? Once you do that, you can go into this cheeky corner. And you need to remember this curved leaf part. Now I'm gonna admit it took me a while to remember this one, because there is just so many leafy parts, but that's the one that I remember. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to put the diamond that comes up from the box right in the middle of those, in that curved part. You just want to wedge it right in the middle, exactly in the middle, and shoot it.
Molly.
And this is a really cool molly I made up. It's gonna bounce right off that perfectly and hit this whole entire area. Next is, let's say you're not comfortable with that, but if you have ult, you can get into this corner. And this also works as a defensive molly to deny their plant. You'll see these 3 panels. Just aim at the very left one and shoot your molly. And this molly lands perfectly here. It's the perfect bounce, gets the whole entire area. The next one for A default is to get back into this corner at main. But just be aware you're going to be very, very far away from the spike. And most people just look at this light and they just aim at the right one.
Molly.
I personally do not do this anymore. The reason is because people can block the molly because they can see it coming, but also I just found that it just took too long to land in this position, and I lost quite a few rounds just because of that. So what I did instead was I developed a new one. I thought, hey, I need a faster molly. So what I did was I decided to get on top of this, and you'll see why in a moment. Now, if you're worried about being exposed, like, look, no one's really going to aim up here. So you have a bit of the advantage anyway. But basically here you want to look at this big sign, and not halfway, but just like sort of 2/3, right? 60% at least, right? And then you want to go up till you see this wooden part. So just like around here. So just like in the middle of this, and then a little bit to the right. And this one is a jump molly. So you just got to jump and then shoot.
Molly!
And this one you'll see lands perfectly off that. No funny bounce. And hits this whole entire area. So keep in mind, you can plant right here. Like, you don't have to plant behind that. I might need to start planting here, because at least when you come out from a main or from heaven, you can see the spike and you can defend it easier than, you know, if you're planting it right here. Okay, and the last plant spot, the most common plant spot is right here for heaven. What you want to do is you want to come back into this corner, and instead of the right side of the light, you just look at the left side of the light and then just shoot it.
Molly!
Now, once again, I used to do this molly, but as you can see, it takes a bounce. People can get off, they can hit the molly away, and it takes a while to land. What I did instead was, I was like, I just need to aim lower. So what I do is I look at the top of this light, just where it ends, and where it ends is basically forming a right angle with the building, and then I just shoot it.
Molly!
And this one will be harder to block because they're not going to be really looking like that, and it's faster, it lands faster, so it's going to pop and do more damage. Okay, but let's say you don't like that, and you just come back in here and you just aim lower. You just aim lower, like you just aim a little bit lower, right? You can just alter it.
Molly!
And you'll see that, you know, it's going to land faster because it's going to hit that wall. It's going to cover more area. See, so when you get used to the lineups, you know, just alter it once you get used to it. Now, if you're from heaven, okay, there's no particular lineup, but basically you can jump peek to see if they're on. You can just peek it like this if you're not comfortable. But basically, you just want to see the top of that, and then you just shoot your molly on it.
Molly!
And then it's just going to land there. Okay, so that way it's just very safe. If you're all the way back here, you can jump up and then shoot it.
Molly!
Right? So they all work. It's all fine. Now lastly, this is a spot that I don't really use anymore because you're just too exposed. You're too exposed. Like if people push, you're just too exposed. But if you're in this corner, just look at this corner, and you just want to put the diamond that comes up from the box right there. And you're gonna see lands perfectly in the spike area. That's pretty much it, guys. So yeah, those are the best lineups for me that you know, I've had the greatest success with to help me rank up. All right, take care, everyone. Have a good week. Bye. But you know, let's say you don't like that. Let's say you can do it better, and you can. So all you have to do is just aim at the same part, but then you just aim a little bit lower. And that way it's going to hit the wall faster, it's going to explode quicker, it's going to cover more area.